Hello everyone, welcome to this video. Today we're going to show you how to use AnalyzIR to analyze and create your reports after any thermal imaging inspection. So let's get started. After installing the software into your computer, we're going to link the folders that you're going to access pictures from. So we're going to click on the link icon. We're going to add a new folder. I have prepared one here on my desktop, which contains some sample images. After clicking on OK, I can close that window and I can access to the images that I have prepared. You can see that every picture and folder inside your folder is kept into the software as well. So if I have 4 folders inside that folder, you will be able to see them on the left side panel. You can also see all the pictures separated or organized by subfolders in this section. You can see how the software can recognize the changes that you make in your original folders and how the different reorganizations that you provide to your images will reflect into the software. So if I open the original folder, which contains my sample images, and I create a new folder, let's say I'm going to name it sample 6. When I go into the software, I will be able to see that folder right there. If I move images from one folder to the other, let's say I'm going to take this one and paste it into the new folder, and I go to the software, it will also appear there. It was already moved. So it's completely dynamic and you don't need to have 2 separate directories. The way that you keep them in your hard drive, it will be shown in the AnalyzIR software as well. So let's start by bringing these images back and do some editing. Okay. If you have a large number of images, but you want to work only on specific ones, or you want to create a report based on the ones that actually showed problems, you can select those across the multiple folders that are in your computer, tag them or mark them as favorite. That way you can have a narrower selection of images that you're going to work with. To do that, we're going to keep the Control key pressed and click in as many images as you need. You can see that I'm going here from sample images, building, into electrical folder, the ones that you see on the left. I'm just scrolling through and selecting one image from each of those folders. Now by right click, I can choose, let's say, favorite. And now all those pictures have been selected as favorite, have 1 star on the corner. So even if I see hundreds of pictures in this interface, I can filter, click on the funnel on the top right of the screen, click on favorite, and then I will only see those specific pictures. With that narrower selection, without changing folders, they still remain in the same original folders, I can proceed to do further analysis or to generate my reports. Now, I want to focus in one type of inspection, so I'm going to use electrical samples for today's video. So I will filter again and then show all the images. I will go to the folder for electrical images. And sometimes when we're performing an inspection, we might not add the ROIs that I need for the analysis. So you can see that in this picture, I have 1 spot and 1 box, but in some others I don't. You can see that right here. So if I have dozens or hundreds of images without the specific markers or ROIs that I need to perform an analysis, do delta T's and create reports, I can select all those images that don't contain the markers, which I believe are these 3, and I can proceed to click on Tools, Batch Processing. On the left side, the software will show me all the pictures that I have selected and that I will batch process together. On the right side, I have the number of tasks that I can perform. This means that I can not only perform one task to all of them, but a series of tasks in the specific order that I design. So I will click on Add. I will go to Markers with the icon for ROIs, Confirm, and when I click on Edit, the picture will show me, the software will show me the first picture. So I will create one spot, which I will put right here in one of the conductors, and then I will create an area for the second one so that I can later use these to create deltas. I will confirm and execute. The software will run that through all the images that I have selected. So if I go to any of those images afterwards, I can see that the first image contains the box and spot that I created, and the next one, this one already had it, also contains the same spot and box. Now all I need to do is, as I go picture by picture to analyze them, to reposition those in the specific components of my interest. I think I missed this one, so I'll go back to that in a moment. So there's a difference between doing that, as you know, and doing the general process, which I'm going to show you right now, where you would have to go picture by picture, opening the picture, creating the spot, and then drawing the box. Another interesting way to use the batch processing is to change the palettes in all of your pictures. Let's say that for electrical you're using iron palette, but for building inspection you want something different. So you see that some of these are with iron and some others are with a different palette. So I will select as many pictures as I need. Click on Tools, Batch Processing, and the task that I will apply on this instance is Change on Palettes. By clicking here, now the software will ask me what palette I want to use. So I don't want iron, I want something that provides more contrast, probably a rainbow. And after clicking Execute, all of my images are now with that specific palette. I can also do this to, let's say, find locations of water condensation by using an isotherm. So after changing the palette, let me do that once more to show you. The first task is going to be to change the palette to gray, okay? And the second task is to apply an isotherm or temperature alarm. Here, I will choose the below temperature alarm, and these images are right now on Celsius, and I would like to see the dew point which I capture and measured in those specific locations inside that specific room or building as, let's say, 12 degrees Celsius. That's going to be my dew point, and it's going to show all the potential places with condensation. So there are two tasks. First, it's going to go from rainbow to gray, and second, it's going to apply a below temperature. So we'll execute. The task has been completed, and now you can see that all of my images have changed in palette, and the specific ones with potential condensation will show right there with blue in the specific locations where I might detect condensation. Another common job that might take a lot of work if you do it manually and one by one is adjusting parameters like emissivity. Let's say that you completed an entire inspection, and after 50 or 100 images you realized that the emissivity wasn't properly set. So you have to go back to the images and adjust one by one. With batch processing, I can go to, let's say, my solar panel images, select all of them, and because I have a different material on those solar panels, instead of the typical 0.95 emissivity, I can go to Tools, Batch Processing, add a task that I want to apply to all of these, and actually I want to do something else. Maybe I want to change palette and I want to change the parameters. Confirm. So I want all of these to be, let's say, gray and red, and I'll change the emissivity of all of those images to something, let's say 0.85. You can also adjust other values like reflected temperature or atmospheric temperature. Right now I'm working on Celsius, so I'm going to change to 28. Execute. You see all the pictures change and the emissivity of all of them was also adjusted. Another useful use of the batch processing is auto-naming your images using the tags that you have added during the inspection. Let's say that you were performing an inspection and this is an electrical case. If I open this image or simply tap on it, you will see down here that there are specific tags that were added during the inspection. In this case, we have the location and the component or asset name that was added at the moment of the picture. If I didn't do that during the inspection, that's okay. Let's say I took a paper record of during the inspection where I took note of the picture number, and then I found the picture number right here. I can open the image and add a new tag even after the inspection has been completed. So let's say that this is, I don't know, processing room, process room 1, and this is motor 12B. I'll confirm. I have a tag now for this image. I will close and save. And now you see that that image also has a tag. So after adding the different tags to the pictures that I needed, whether I did it on the camera or on the computer, I can rename all of those images based on the tag that they contain. So I will choose all those pictures with tags, and you know them because they have an icon on the top left corner. And I will go to Tools once more, Batch Processing. I will add a new task, for which in this case is going to be auto-naming. You can see that you can also do batch processing to add tags. So let's say you will choose all the pictures of motors, and then you will tag them as motors. And then you have disconnects, you have MCCs. So you can easily tag dozens of pictures all in once so that you can classify them and filter them more easily. So I will confirm, execute, and now all of those pictures' names were changed based on the specific tag they have. So you can see this one, the name has changed. So just to show you real quick how the tags work in batch processing, I will choose different types of assets. Let's say all of these, which are solar panels. I will click on batch processing, add tag, confirm, and I will add one tag right here, which is solar panel, and execute it. Now all of those pictures will be tagged as solar panels. You can see that when I open any of those down here, the tag will be solar panel. And if I do, let's say, for this one, I'm going to choose a different one. Perhaps this is these two. I will create batch processing, add tags, and those two images, I want them to be electrical. Execute. So what this does is, by having every picture with a specific tag and doing it so easily with the batch processing, I can have many different images in one folder, but I can easily find them by category without going back to my computer or hard drive to reorganize them. So you can see all my pictures are here, but if I tab If I click on the funnel and click on tag, now they are reorganized specifically by those tags. One more way to use the batch processing on tags is if you have a number of images of different applications, let's say one single customer, I can I can tag specific images that I want to report on. So as I said earlier, I can choose to label them as favorite, but I can also choose, let's say, to tag them as critical or something different. So I'm going to choose a number of random images from different folders. So this one from my electrical folder, this one from my building, my mechanical, my solar panel. So I have one picture from every folder, and I will apply a tag to each of them simultaneously. So I will add a task, create a new tag right here, which I'm gonna name report as critical. That's gonna be my tag. Now we'll execute it. So when I go back to the visualization of all my pictures, you will see that first I can either filter by images that contain tags only, and they're still organized by the specific folders where they are located. But I can also choose this option on the grouping to group my images based on the tag. So now, even though they belong to different folders in the computer, I can go and find all those 4 pictures that I tag as report as critical in one single section. So now I can go ahead and select those to create a report. Okay, now I believe that before you create the report, you want to tweak and adjust your images to make them look better. So since I have already filtered by using tags the specific images that I will include into my report, I'm gonna have them right here. I'm gonna start with the first one. So I double click on the first image. Typically, one of the first adjustments that we want to do is on the colors. So if I'm using Autospan, the picture will look probably like this. But you want to highlight that there is a problem in this area. So I will switch to manual by clicking on this icon right here. And I will adjust the values either by manually lowering with the arrows, by moving and scrolling across the color bands, or by typing in the specific values that I want to highlight. So I'm gonna go probably a little higher on this one. That was too much. So let's do maybe 78. So this probably is good enough for me, and all I need to do from here is to close the image and save it. Then I can move on to the next one. So let's say I'll do motor right here. And for this specific image, I would probably want to highlight the specific part of the motor that is on a higher temperature. So I will play with Fusion, and I will give the specific temperature bands where I want the thermal picture to appear or to be highlighted. So before I will just do a little exercise, I will mark the temperatures that are lowest in the motor. So this is 83, and then the highest is 89. So I know that I want my colors to be between 83 and actually 92. That's the highest temperature. So going back to Fusion, I will type, I don't want to be so close, so I'm gonna start with 80. And I will bring this to, let's say, 95, so I'm not that close. And enter. And now you can see that I have all the background information, all the digital image in the background, providing details on what motor and what is connected to the motor. You can even see the motor plate, and then the thermal is specifically in that part of the image. If I want to enhance that, probably I can bring this number higher. and then I will only see the temperature differentials on that specific section. So I will click here on close and save and move on to the next one. Okay, now let's focus once again on one specific type of report. So we're gonna do a sample of how to do an electrical inspection report. So for that, I will cancel my filter by tags. I will open my electrical inspection folder. Now I won't group by tags, I will group by folders because those are the ones that I'm interested in. So before you proceed to generate your report, you might want to tweak those images and make sure that the markers or ROIs are positioned in the right location. So I will go to my electrical pictures folder, open the first of them, and now you see that the markers are a little bit messy with information all over. So in order to make this more clean, I will click on the characters overlay icon. I don't want the temperature measurements to follow the indicators. I just want them to be in the top left corner. Now, for this application, I don't need the minimum temperatures. I only want the maximum temperatures. So by doing those two adjustments, you can see that now the temperatures are on the left side of the image. There's also a third indicator showing the maximum temperature of the image. You won't see it over here, but you can easily find it by minimizing right here on the general settings, display, and you can turn off the maximum temperature of the general image overlay. So when I go back to the specific image that I'm editing, the maximum temperature of the entire image will disappear and only that one will remain there. So I'm good with this image. I will move on to the next one. I will save the changes. Now I have this one. It seems like my spot and my area are in the right location. And you might want to do delta T's. I'll show you how to do that in a moment. And I continue making sure that everything looks fine. Now I get to this picture, which is a little complex. The connections are not quite regular. So I want a different type of box. I don't want this area 1 rectangular because there are a number of cables that I want to define better. So first let me adjust the colors a little bit. Okay, probably just a little adjustment there. And there is a special tool called Magic Thermal or Magic Polygon. I'm gonna click it and now let the software analyze all the pixels into the camera. I can go and select specific locations or components on the image and the software will recognize them and select all of them for me. So here it selected all the objects that are connected, which is not useful for what I'm trying to do. I want to compare one spot with one area. So I will specifically drag across any specific region and then if that doesn't work, let me just try once more. The software will show that a specific cable isolated from any background information. And now you see that this is my area 1. Now with that special area that follows the regular shape of the component, I can create my delta T by clicking on the triangle right here, set difference, where I will set my reference as my spot 1 and, sorry, not my reference, but my area of interest being area 1, maximum temperature, and then spot 1 being my reference. I click and then I have a delta T created right on the image. However, this is not necessary if your template already contains a delta T. This is just for analysis purposes. So don't feel like you have to create a delta for every single picture that you have. If you have one spot and one area, that's enough. The template will do everything else for you. So if I don't want the delta, I will just go right click on the image, delete delta, and click on that one, and then I have my image just fine. Okay, I will show you lastly one more feature that can be really useful for applications like this one. If I select auto I might have this type of image, then I want to do manually adjusting. There are other ways to equalize the colors on the image. One of them is by doing right click on the image, selecting color distribution, and instead of doing a linear distribution, do a histogram based distribution. By doing that, you can see that now the colors are highlighted in a different way, and this might show you hidden problems that were on the picture all along. You can even see the reflection of the thermographer right here, and some of the cables that were not showing as hot, they're actually now showing much better. So see the difference between histogram based and linear based. This is a much better way of keeping your auto span without doing a lot of manual adjustments and highlight those hidden problems. So with all my pictures revised and checked and make sure that everything was fine, I will proceed to create my report. So with the pictures that have been already analyzed and tweaked and adjusted the way I need, I will proceed to select all of them, click on report, and select one of the report templates that are already in the software. You can choose any of the preset templates. You can choose one of them and edit them, or create one from scratch. So now I will show you how to create one from scratch. If you don't feel like following all this process, you can jump right ahead on the video and then simply choose or learn how to generate the report. So let me close this and teach you how to create the report from scratch, the report template. First, you want to make sure that you don't have any pictures selected. Then we're going to click on the report, and then this interface will allow me to either choose from here or to create one from scratch. So let's create one. On this interface, I have multiple sections, the designer section and the preview section, where I'm able to see what I have completed so far. So let's start by creating a cover page. To create a cover page, first I will add, let's say, the text, where I will add the title of my inspection, and I'm gonna say thermography report, centered, and a larger size. Now I will increase the size of this section because I also want to add a picture. So this picture is going to be always there. Can be a picture of my the location, can be a picture of my company, front entrance, and all I need to do is to choose where that picture is going to come from. I don't believe I have pictures around here, so I'm just going to use another thermal picture from the ones that I'm using. So sample images, and I'll use one from the buildings. That probably will do it for now. This building right here. Okay. Now, I also want to include information about, let's say, the customer. So I would add one more text box where I will say, let's say, client address, and perhaps the date. This is going to be there. It's not going to change. And then when the report is created in a Word format, I can edit it and simply complete that information. Now on the, I think that's going to be for now. You can also include your logo. That would be also common to have in our cover page. So I will just increase that and add one more image, which I'm going to place over here. Find the source in my desktop. I believe it was there. Or probably my downloads. Yes, this is it. Okay, so that's my logo. And if I go to the preview, now you can see a general idea of what my report is looking like so far. So this is my first page. Now, having that completed on that first page, I want to add a new one. So I will create a new unbound detailed report section. That means that it's not going to be repetitive. It's not going to iterate based on pictures. It's always going to be one page and that's it. In that section, I will probably want to include information about what I'm doing, what's my methodology, what I follow when I'm doing an inspection, and what those results mean to my customer. So I will bring that text, which I already have prepared. Over here, it's going to be my intro. So let me just copy that and bring it into that section. So I'll copy and paste all the information for the intro. So once again, I can go into the preview, I see my cover, and then the information is still on the same page. So I want to separate those two, for which I will bring a separator, which I forgot I should have added earlier. Drop it right there. When I come to the preview, then I have those two pages already separated. Now I know there's a little of aesthetics that we can still fix here. I'm not going to focus too much on that because that is something that you can play with. But if you may, you can simply select the entire text, justify it, then also adjust the title, make it bold, and increase the size, things of that sort, or separate the two different type of text to do it differently. For now, just for the sake of keeping this video short, I'm just going to leave it as it was right there. Okay, so we have a cover page with logo. We have an introduction page. Okay, so I completed my cover page, my introduction page. Now I want to add a special page which contains the summary of findings of my inspection. So that's going to be a one single page which is going to have repetitive data, but it's not going to create one page for every piece of data. It's just going to repeat in rows of a table. So to do that, I will go to the bottom of my design and I will insert a detailed report and choose file list. Whenever you find the expression file list into the software, it means that it's an iterative process that is going to go on all the data that you have chosen. It's going to grab it and include it into the report over and over as many times as pictures you have selected. Now, in this section, I want to make sure there is one part that is repeating or iterating and parts that are not. So to do that, I will add one band, which is a group header. Here I will add that title that I want, which is summary of findings. Just make it a little bigger right here. And I will also add a little table header right there, which maybe just 3 columns. The first one of them can be the asset. Second one can be the delta T. And the third one can be perhaps the tag. Okay, so after defining and drawing what's going to be there, this is not going to change. This is just going to be the header of my table. I want to bring this section right to the edge of the table. So from that part, everything starts reiterating and repeating. So now I have a detail section where I will go into IR. The IR will collect data from the thermal pictures that I have chosen. So we'll go down here to find the summary table, drag and drop, or simply draw. I will add one additional column to the right to make those two match the table header and the actual body of the table right here. Okay. And now you can see that there are some codes in there. So you can use the code assistant to decide what's going to go in each specific section. So I'll click on the first one and go into the formula. And it can get very technical. You don't have to go all the way into those details. But basically, it allows you to choose what from the thermal picture you're going to select. So for this specific case, we have the asset, which we are going to be collecting from actually the tag. So here, when I select what's gonna come in here, I will simply choose the tag. And my screen configuration is a little large for the video to look better for you. So we'll click on OK. Okay, so I have my third column. These two are matching. I will do the final adjustment in a moment. Now I want to configure what's going to show in each cell of that table. So on the first one, I want the asset. Where's the asset information going to come from? Well, it depends how you perform your inspections. If you add the information of the asset on the tag, then you want to select that information right here. If you add in the text annotations, when you take the picture, you add a note, then you can do it there. Or simply you will leave it empty and you will manually input that information from your paper record. So let's say that we're going to use the text annotations. So we want to replace the code that is in here. An easy way is to bring one text annotation into the page, copy that information from there into the cell, and then I get rid of this one. The second one is going to be the delta. So I will click on the formula and I will say that I want the area 1 to be subtracted. You can see the minus symbol right there by the spot 1, because we already applied the spot and areas to all of our images using batch processing. Let me adjust the size of this window that we had to enlarge for the sake of this video and click on OK. And lastly, this one is going to be the tag. So I'm gonna bring it from here, IR market list, sorry, our tag list. And now we have the tag, which I'm gonna get from the specific tags that I added to the picture. So once again, the easiest way is just bring one IR tag field right here, copy the text and put it where I need it. Then I can get rid of this one. And I will narrow this section, which is going to repeat over and over for every thermal picture that I have selected for the inspection. This section probably is not going to be that wide, it's just going to be one small number. Right there. Okay, and to give more space for the tag. And I make this one center. This one also. Okay. All right, so right here I'm gonna add a band group footer, just to make sure that whatever is between the group header and the group footer is going to repeat and is not going to get into other sections. So basically I'm just putting a top and a bottom to contain everything in between. Okay, so if I have dozens of pictures, they're gonna still also remain there. So now that I have completed my summary of findings, I can go to the preview section. I have my title, my image, my logos, and then I have a summary of findings. You can see that they are on the same page. Once again, I forgot. I keep on forgetting how doing that. So I simply want to add from the control section a separator right here on that page to make sure that now this is in their own, contained in their own page. So my summary of findings is right there. Now you can see that it is a table, but it doesn't have it's not highlighted, it's not with borders. So I'm just gonna select that, preview. So you can see that as you do adjustments and edits, you can see the results and what they're looking like and whether you need to do little adjustments or not. So for instance, this one is a little bit off center. Just gonna make sure that it matches. Okay. So I completed that. Once again, as I mentioned, I want to narrow this so it repeats that section. And now I'm ready to produce the actual report findings where every picture will create one page. So once again, I want a detailed report section with file list. This is going to iterate over and over. I will add a band with a header. In that header, you might want to add your logo. So let's bring in a logo right here. And that logo is going to come from my folder. So I want my logo being right there. And I start building based on what I need. So I want the digital image first because that's what I want my customer to see. So I want it in this section, not the other. Okay. So that's the main part that I want him or them to see. And create a little bit more space for the infrared image now. So the infrared image will go here. And you can see that when there are overlaps on the image, they will show in red. So I just need to readjust those two. What other information do I want? I might want to add the annotations, which contain probably the asset name and location. And I want to add a small text here where I said asset. I also want to add the tag because it contains information like what type of asset this is. And before there, I will add tag. And lastly, I want to create and I want to add a little table containing the temperature information that I requested from the images. So let me just add one row below. So for this one, I'll have spot 1, or actually just do it sideways. Area 1 and delta T. So what do I need here? I need the maximum temperature of that specific spot, correct? So if I go to the area 1 information, this is gonna go right here. Just gonna keep it small. Now that your table has been created, you can add the different bookmarks or pull the information from the R image into your report template. There are different ways you can do that by simply clicking on the cell, clicking on the formula, and then go find the specific values that you want to add. Let's say you go here to IR marker list and then select, let's say, maximum temperature, double click, and then the software will create the code for you, basically. Now you can explore there and I invite you to do it. You can also go to user manual and support, but for this video we just want to keep it short. So for now I'm gonna save this template and go to one of our original ones which already have all the coded embedded, and I will look into those maximum temperature, normal temperature, etc. So what I'm just gonna do is just copy and keep a little cheat sheet of the sections that go in there, and then copy the next one, That's going to be for my second marker, and lastly this is going to be for my delta t. You can do this or you can manually do it. I'm just saving myself some time. So I will close this one, go back to my template and start with this first section. So here I will copy the text on the first one, which was this one right here. So for my specific purposes, I want the temperature of spot 1, not area 1. So all I'm going to do is change that value, spot 1. Now this window is a little big, as I mentioned, because we adjusted the size for this video. Now I'm going to go on the second one. This one is area 1. I want area 1 right here. So I will copy the text from there and paste it right here. So on this one, once again, it's a little long. I just need the last part. You can do the same. And I want not spot 1, I want area 1, maximum temperature. Did I miss anything? Yeah, just delete this part. Reduce and OK. And for the last one, I will go and copy that part. For this same story, I'm just going to take the final part, which is the absolute value, in case one of the values is greater than the other, to make sure that it still works. So here we're going to do area 1 minus spot 1, absolute value, and click on OK. So I have my file list, which is the iterative part of the report for this page. I have a group header with my logo. I have the details section with information of the images. Let me just resize this part. I want to close with a group footer, and in the group footer I will drop my division or my separator. If you want to make sure to include additional information for NFPA 70B compliance, you can also add information of the camera. For instance, what type of camera it was used, the lenses. Just find it right here. The serial number of your camera or the device name, which device was used for these specific pictures. You can also add the resolution on the images. Let's say the width, well actually maybe this one's not relevant. The field of view of your lens. So I'm just dragging and dropping, just putting information around there, okay? So let's check the preview, cover, intro. Summary is getting together with the other one, so I'll have to add a separator right there. Delta T's, etc. This is looking good. Okay, so I want to make sure that this table contains borders. I also want some borders on this section to make it look better, and the same for the last ones. I mean, this is completely optional. You decide how do you want to make it look. So here, for some reason, I missed adding my group footer. So insert band and group footer right there, and I'm going to drop a division right here. Okay, this looks like it's okay. So going again, cover, intro, summary of findings, new page, and then I have all the information of my specific template, of my specific image. I will save this, close the editor. Now I will select the images. Now remember that I created a template that is going to get information from the annotations and the tags. So I'm going to choose these 3 images that already have tags. I'm going to provide the information on the annotations. So let's say this one is going to be asset 1, 2, and the next one it's going to be, let's say I also want to add the location. So this is electrical room, and this is cabinet 12R. And moving on to the next one, I will say this is the circuit for motor 12B. Saving those, I will select these 3 images which contain the information that I need for the template to work. Actually, these 3, sorry. This one doesn't have the tag. Let me just add the tag real quick. Electrical, confirm, and save. So these 3 images, click on report, select the template that I just created from scratch, and then I have my cover, my intro, my summary of findings, motor 12B, asset 12, electrical room, delta T's, tags. Then right here I have the information of the pictures with temperature information, the type of camera that was used, the field of view. I need to check what's going on with the annotations here. Okay, so we have added the corresponding markers in each of those cells where I need them. I'm just going to do a little bit of aesthetic work, probably shrink this a little bit and make these all of them even. Now for this one, just to prevent errors, we want to separate the code from the actual text. So actually, let's just avoid doing what I did. I'm just gonna add a small text box right here where I'm gonna say this was the tag that I use. Again, it can be tag, can be type, asset type, because that's what you put in your tag. And I'm going to apply the same just to avoid issues when you are executing it. So let me copy this one, bring it here, and from the annotations I'm getting the asset, correct? Let's see what else. Oh, the logo. The logo, everything that is in the group is going to appear only once. Everything that you want to repeat in every page needs to be in the details section. So I'm going to bring the logo down to this section. Just going to make it, I'm going to bring everything lower to make a space for it and keep my logo right here. Okay, so going back into my section, I see everything that I have made, making sure logo is there, asset, information. This one, something is covering, so I'll take a look into that in a moment. Maybe the divider got in the way. Yes, it did. Okay, and I'm gonna bring the separator back to where I need it, which is right after the images, not cutting them. So again, let's see, make sure that it's looking good. It is. Okay, so now that I have completed my template, I want to save it. If I close here, now you know that you can see that my report template is right here. It's saved and I can use it over and over. Now, I can export that, send it to someone else that can import it into their own AnalyzIR. And to create the report, I will select the images. For this case, I have 3 images with all the information that I need. I will create the report, choose the specific template, which I just created from scratch, double click on it. If you look into the preview, you might find all the information, but you might not, especially if you are selecting many different pictures. So what you want to do next is to export on Word or PDF. I'm going to do it in Word so I can do edits afterwards. I'm going to save it. And when I go to Downloads and open that report, I will be able to see the report generated one picture at a time with all the different sections that I created with a summary. I don't think this is the one. I apologize. I opened the wrong file. So let's see what I missed. Okay, this is the one that I want to save. So export to Word. Maybe, yeah, I put it in the wrong place. So let's name it report sample 1. Save. Okay. And let's go to my downloads, report sample 1. And here we have it. So the main image, the logo, once again, every section that I have created, and then page by page. So as you see, this is just a very simple way of doing it from scratch. If you really want to go deeper and create some more codes and programs, change the colors depending on the analysis, the delta T, if you want to add a specific diagnosis, a little manual, but if you are an advanced thermographer and you want to do that, you have the flexibility for doing it. If you prefer to have skipped all the previous section and just create your report, all you need to do is select one of the pre-made templates. I recommend you to use, for instance, this one, the summary table template. Double click, let the software work, and then save it as a Word file. I'm gonna call once more, I'm gonna put it in downloads and probably here on the desktop to find it more easily. So this is my report sample 1, save it, and if I go now to my desktop, report sample 1, then I see once again the report cover, then a more detailed introduction page with information about the camera that was used, when it was done, information about how you decide what is an anomaly, the different categories. All of this can be included in your own report when you do it manually, or you can simply contact us and we can help you on doing that. We can see the summary of findings here, including delta T's with colors depending on what you found or how big those deltas were. And then here all the temperature values, deltas, and additional information that you might want to include. So this is probably an easier way with pre-made templates. There are multiple of them. AnalyzIR allows you to create reports not only for infrared but also for acoustic. The process is basically the same. If you look at any of these reports, for instance, for a report template for acoustic, let's say PRPD, and look into that template, it's basically the same logic where you drag and drop, not from IR but from acoustic. Here are the icons that you're gonna bring into the page. You can configure, add the different sections that you want, like different grabs, and then from there you can generate your reports. So this is in a nutshell how you will be using AnalyzIR to edit, batch process, and generate reports of your inspections. I hope that you find it useful. If you want additional information, feel free to study the user manual for AnalyzIR. You can also contact us on info@fotric.com or support@fotric.com, and we'll be happy to help.